All right, YouTube, what is going on? Chris with Journals Comics. Guys, it is late night for me here, and it is still hot. It's still like 90 degrees outside, and I've had a long day. I am filming this on Friday after I did my comic book handle live show, but I had to come out here and do this video. You guys will probably see this sometime over the weekend, but I had a little something to get off my chest, and what better time to do it than on a late night? Because this is a sticky, saucy type of conversation. Now, I'm talking about specifics regarding speculation. Now, you guys know me. I am an advocate. I'm an advocate for speculation. So many people are so salty on the speculation game in so many different ways. And I'm always like, look, let everyone collect how they want to collect, right? I made a video recently about the three elements of collecting. A lot of us collect to read. Some of us collect to love the art. Some of us collect to invest and speculate. Some of us are a realm of all three, right? Speculating, I always talk to about how I think without speculating, and the idea of comic books as an investment, the hobby wouldn't even exist today. You know, the fact that we can speculate on books, buy books, collect books to invest in for them to gain value over time is what has kept the industry alive this long. So, with that being said, I'm an advocate. I do not knock it one way or the other. I don't knock slabbing. People want to slab and flip. I don't knock flippers. But there's one aspect that I don't like to see when it comes to those that speculate just to flip books. Now, let me just say before I get into that, there is nothing wrong with wanting to speculate on books and flipping books. I mean, you can't. There's no laws against this stuff, guys, right? And ultimately, I've talked about this before about how regardless, supply and demand is going to be organic. People talk about speculators manipulating the market, and it's such a far stretch. You may be able to get somebody manipulate a sale, but to manipulate an entire market, um, I don't think people really understand economics on a level to really gauge what that would take. So with that being said, though, if people are speculating on books and they buy books simply to flip, um, I do believe that there's a way to do it that is ethical. Um, you know, you got to allow people to be able to make their money. And I've even talked about those that hoard loads of books, like for when a new book comes out, if they're specking on it. I'm not even saying that that's unethical. I wouldn't do it. I talked about this before. Say a book comes out, say like, oh, there's speculation on Batman 89 or 92, right? First Punchline, whatnot. And somebody goes to their comic book store on Wednesday when it came out, doors open, and they buy every book off the shelf. Hey, look, there's no law unless the comic book store, the LCS, puts a limit on the books, and people get mad because they didn't get their issue. I'm like, well, you could have pre-ordered it, you could add your LCS, put it in your pull list, all these things. There's always a way to get your book, so don't be mad that speculators or even hoarders want to buy 10, 15, 20 books. Like I said, I wouldn't go all out. I would want to share the love. I gauge how many were on the shelf. If the comic book store only had 10 issues, maybe I'd buy 4, save the rest for somebody else, something like that, right? But I'm not even talking about that. What I'm talking about in terms of unethical behavior by those that want to speculate, buy, and flip is being able to downplay the value of a book just so they know that they can get that book and widen their profit margin once they sell it. Now, let me give you an example. There's 2 ways to do this. One, there's a simple idea of trying to dupe the individual that wants to sell a book. So say there's an individual that wants to sell a book. Say they're not a flipper. They sell a book here and there, whatever. They have a book that they want to sell. Maybe they're trying to get another book. Maybe they are okay with parting with a key and they want to get a key that's more important to them, right? And they put it up for sale, and you got speculators that want to just flip books come at them saying, man, talking the talk, talking the game, trying to downplay the book. and telling you, oh, that's only a certain amount of money book. I'm only going to give up this much money for it, hoping that the individual selling the book is going to fall for the dupe, right? Not be fully educated to what they're selling, want to get that quick sell off, and so forth. That's a problem, okay? But the other problem, on top of that, is where they try to get the book in a way that still undermines the seller, right? So, and they might try to do both of these at the same time to the same person. But if they can't dupe someone stating that the value isn't worth that, I'll get lowballing them an offer and just seeing if they'll bite. One thing about speculators that they know is that they go after books that most likely are going to increase at least in the short term. Okay, so say you have a book that's picking up steam, and its value has increased almost exponentially over, say, a couple weeks' time, right? Most likely, they're going to spec on those books. They're going to spec on those books before the value of the hype reaches its peak, and they're going to try to play the fact that that book is not going to increase in value. So, say for example, you have a book that's worth $200. Say it's a decent high grade book, and in about the average grade it's worth about $200 to $250, right? But you know that most likely in a couple weeks that book can easily be up to the $300 to $350 value. Individuals might downplay that and talk you to that lowball $200 value and want to rush you into a sale. You know, without allowing you the chance to even speak on the possibility of an increasing in value. So those are the two things to look out for. One is people just trying to dupe you, hit you with a low ball offer, maybe talk circles around you, and really they will test the waters too. They will test the waters to see how educated you are, right? But the other thing, and I think this is the biggest thing to watch out for, is where the book is at in the market, where the book is at on its curve, and how you can gauge the future value of that book. And it's tough because as somebody that's trying to sell a book, you want to gauge right. So say you have a book that's $200 to $250, and if someone's still lowballing you at that 200 mark, and you want to say, I'm going to be cautious because I know in a couple weeks I could probably get $300 or $350 for this. It's not always guaranteed. It's not always guaranteed. But my advice to everyone in this position is to just, again, educate yourselves to the best that you can. Educate yourselves, watch the market, follow the trends, listen to the hype, listen to the other speculators and the rumors and so forth. So that's my little tidbit, guys. I really wanted to touch on this because I'm all game when it comes to speculation, but I will be damned if somebody tries to come at me uh, wanting a quick flip, and they think that they're gonna dupe me because they have another thing coming, and it ain't happening. And I want everyone to know: don't ever let somebody pressure you into making a sale. Absolutely not. Don't ever let somebody pressure you into making a sale. And they'll dangle the fruit, over your head. They'll reel the fishing line out to see if you'll bite. Don't do it. Don't do it. You sit on that book until you feel you get what you feel it's worth. And that's my only issue with speculating. And this has nothing to do with the comic book industry in general. It has to do with you know people. It has to do with ugliness in human beings. And ugliness in human beings comes out in all forms and fashions, and unfortunately there are people out there in the comic book community that it comes out in terms of these situations. So watch out for those folks, guys. You got people that, especially right now with the COVID crisis, I think people are taking advantage of it. They're taking advantage of it in two ways. I think speculators that are flipping are taking advantage of the fact that there's probably people out there hurting for money that are trying to get books off. And then they're taking advantage of the market right now and trying to flip books fast for that high blown up dollar amount because you don't have your LCSs open, right? You don't have access to your LCSs. Like, for example, um, I usually get my books at A1 Comics sales, and there's no sales right now. There's online sales, but I mean sales where they have like 50% off back issues, 20% off key wall books and stuff like that. So I'm not getting that top grade, or excuse me, that top-notch price. That the access to those prices aren't as available right now as they were a few months ago before this crisis happened. So be careful of those that are doing you know, live sales, that are trying to get that top notch price. And I wouldn't personally, if I was selling right now, I probably wouldn't sell to individuals that are doing live sales. I wouldn't, because whatever they buy your book for, they're going to have to sell for more. So I would not sell. I would sell to individual collectors that actually want the book. You have you have your comic book stores that are doing live sales like A1 Comics, and even though they're not offering like store sales, I watch their live sales, and if there's a book for $100 and you say, hey, will you take 85 or $90 for that book? They will entertain offers, and that's what I love about A1. They are genuine. If you think a book that they're selling might be slightly priced a little high, they'll work with you. Big shout out to them. I'm not trying to blanket everyone into this category of negligence, right? I give a big shout out to those LCSs right now that are doing live sales, but I'm talking about individuals, that are specifically flippers. They are going to sell your book for a higher amount. Otherwise, there's no point in them buying it from you in the first place. That's my information. That's my tips for today, guys. Be wary, be kind, be good human beings. Thank you so much for watching. Leave some comments below. Subscribe if you have not done so yet. And until next time.